All right. Welcome, everybody, to another Games Talk Live podcast. I'm your host, Jay Fonzarelli, and along with me again, as he is every week, Mr. Hargeet Chani. What's up, Hargeet?
Another week, a lot of little things that came out. News
Yeah.
about pretty much all platforms. So
Yeah, we got
we'll
a
get
lot of
into it.
little nuggets, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
just all sprinkled all
stuff
over.
going on.
Yeah, it's not the greatest news week, but we've got some news out there to talk about. What have you been playing this week?
Still Shadows. I've been playing Shadows. I'm probably like, I don't know, maybe 60 hours in or something like that. So I don't know how far I am. I've still
60.
been doing the exploring thing.
Yeah.
I'm now trying to do some of the side missions. I've really stayed away from the main mission. So I'm just like trying to clear, open up the entire map, right? So I've got most of it now. So
Nice,
level
nice.
50, I think. 50, yeah, I think I'm either 49 or 50. So now I can pretty much go everywhere. So
So are
um,
you enjoying it at least at this point still? Is it
yeah,
getting a little fatigue or?
it's an interesting one where I'm like, I play it for a bit and then I'm like, all right, now I need a break. And that, so it's not one of those games where I'm like, I'm hooked and I
Hooked?
don't want to put
Yeah.
it down, right? Like there are games where it's like, I don't want to sleep, I just want to keep playing.
Weren't
And
you
like
like
this
that
is
with
not one of
Indiana
those.
Jones?
Yeah, there were
Yeah.
games like that. Yeah, like and it's like, okay, I'm just gonna keep playing. I don't want to stop playing. Like you just want to keep going, and it's like it doesn't feel that way. And it might be that it's the same issue I've always had. It's too daunting. You look at the map and you're like, there's that much more.
Yeah. I get it, bro.
Like,
That's I quit on it 30 hours in, man. You're 60 hours in and I was just like, you know what?
uh,
There's not a lot to explore out there. Uh, it's not like the other Assassin's Creed games that
and
that
it
I
becomes
played. So,
filler, and that's the thing. It's like
yeah.
you don't need to
Yeah.
make it this big. It becomes filler, and you're like, you're just wasting my time now. Like, just can we
Facts.
just do like the things I need to? Like, so, and yeah, I could skip a lot of things, but it's like I want, like, you gave me the option to do this. It's like now I want to do it, and it's like, but it's like it's just a waste of time. I don't know. It's just this conflicting thing. I don't know. I hope they will go back to a smaller format. Thankfully, it seems to be doing well, though. That's a good thing for Ubisoft. Good thing for the industry that Ubisoft won't crash, right? That it's seemingly, at least they're saying the sales are good. That's awesome.
I
So
wouldn't mind if they did like a 25-hour campaign and maybe 50 hours for everything, 100%.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, and that was
I
like
think that's
Mirage.
what.
Mirage was like that. That was about that much, right? So, and that was good. That's exactly the amount of itch you need to scratch. Like it's just right. It's still very lengthy, but not ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, as for me, I've been playing Path of Exile 2. You know, they've had
Oh yeah.
numerous patches over the past week, a few anyway. When they had the new update that came out a couple of weeks ago, lots of people the community was divided. It was very polarizing. You had some people that loved it, some people that hated it. And now it was very mixed. Now it's kind of gotten to the point where a lot of people were crying about how hard it was. And, there was monsters you were going up against that are just too difficult and all this stuff. They've fixed some of that, I guess. I didn't find it too hard. Then again, I wasn't in the end game, so I didn't get there yet when it was like really hard. So I don't know, maybe some things were really hard there, but people were complaining about even the first portion of the game because you have to beat it twice to get to end game. You have to beat it once, beat it on hardcore mode, then you get to end game. Right now, I'm in hardcore mode, Act 2, and I'm having a blast with it, having a lot of fun. It's a very addictive game, even though I've played through these same maps now many times over with different characters and stuff. I still am having a good time playing the game, and that's a sign of a good game. One thing, though, I will point out, though, that this game has done, and Oh No, It's Alex did a video. By the way, Oh No, It's Alex did a video on PoE 2 and the problems with it, especially for newcomers. I agree with him on the newcomer aspect. Because I tried to play this new class, solo self-found. Basically, you can't trade with anybody. You have to start fresh, and you can't have access to any of your gear from your other characters. It's just on your own. So I started that way, and I was like, it got really tough because I came to the point where I was like, I can't upgrade certain things because I don't have certain gems. I don't have certain items to upgrade. So I was like, I'm not dealing with this. So I rolled it back. I started over, and I started over with the trade so I can trade with my other characters, because me having almost 600 hours in with my other characters, I have a lot of gems, a lot of stuff, gear, all kinds of
Yeah,
stuff
yeah, yeah.
stacked. So I was able to throw all that stuff on my character now, and it's just like, man, it's smooth sailing now for sure. But it's that is a problem for newcomers. So when they're getting started in this game, even if they're going into trade, they have to literally get stuff to trade for anyway. So you're starting fresh and brand new. You don't have access to all these items. And to get some of the currency in the game, it's kind of tough. There's a lot of currency, and a lot of it doesn't come sparingly. They don't just throw it at you all the time. It's just like it's very sparse. Here and there you might get a few things you may need, but it's rare. So they need to fix that. And that's one thing I hope that they do address. Aside from that, having a good time with that, and also having a good time with Borderlands 3, the Ultimate Edition. I've been playing that with Colt a lot, and I played with you, matter of fact, a couple of times now. And Borderlands is just, and guys, if you know me, I've talked about Borderlands before. I tried this Borderlands like a couple of years ago, and I tried with the first one, and the mistake I made was I played by myself, and I just could not get into it. This is not a game you play by yourself. Yeah, you got to play with friends. And it really has opened my eyes to this franchise. Now I love it. Like, I can't wait for Borderlands 4, because it's been a blast to play with friends. And I have a new appreciation for this art style too. You know, I wasn't big on cell shading and stuff. Even back in the day, I wasn't big on it when we first started to see it. But man, the way these artists do it with this game, with Borderlands, this franchise, it's incredible. Incredible. It looks amazing. Especially, you know, on our PCs and everything. It looks amazing on the Series X. It's probably the same on the Series X and the PlayStation 5, to be honest, because it's not like a really hard game to run. But damn, is it awesome looking. It's a great game. A lot of good guns, a lot of fun to be had. Parts of it remind me kind of of Destiny at times, like the moon mission and stuff that we did. Some cool stuff, but I'm enjoying that as well. Want to say hello to everybody in the chat. Thank you for being here. Web Dave, thank you very much for always supporting this show. Appreciate you so much. And I still don't know whether or not I can come tomorrow. He invited me to the show tomorrow, and I appreciate that, but I still have to talk to the wife. But anyways, I will let you know by tonight, buddy. Promise. Magnum, what's up to you? Preston, what's up to you? Rachie, I see you. Contour Sean, 83, thank you for being here. Preston, by the way, he says he just finished Avowed again. 2 playthroughs so far. But I also saved right before the garden, so I have redone from then on 4 times total. Dang. So he's playing this game over and over. He's loving it. You know who else booted it up again is Colt. Colt booted it up today.
Nice.
He was telling me that he was going through it, and he was just appreciating how beautiful the game is. It is really beautiful. It really is. But let's talk about, let's get into something really quickly here. I was just watching Gaz's show over on Septic Sauce, good friend of mine. You were there in the chat too, Hargeet, and they were talking about this whole thing to do with Nintendo sponsoring a sort of ad or something on Digital Foundry's channel. And I've seen people being really upset about this stuff. Like, I understand. People are, you know, some people don't like the fact that Digital Foundry did this ad or this sponsorship, whatever you want to call it, and they put it on their channel. They didn't have any kind of dialogue or anything. There was no narration. It was just basically a sponsored ad straight from Nintendo placed on their channel for money. As we know, a lot of these big content creators do this for a living. They're no different. This is the way I see it anyway. I know a lot of people are going to get mad at me, but I don't see it as being a bad thing. Now, yeah, ads suck. Yeah, maybe you don't want to hear straight from the corporation. Maybe you want to hear some thoughts from them. You will get those thoughts from Digital Foundry. Best believe they'll talk about it when the time is right. We don't even have the specs for the damn thing right now, but they got paid to put a sponsored ad on their channel, and a lot of people are livid about it and say you can't trust them anymore. It's like, what does that have to do with their technical analysis? Like, Hargy, I don't know. Weigh in on this, please, man.
Yeah, so look, a lot of people do this, like almost everywhere. There's things that are sponsored, right? That's just the way it is. Think of just a normal advertisement on anything. That's just an ad, right? So now, as far as content that people make, yeah, there's things where a like company will say, "Hey, can you review a product for us?" And you're required to tell people that this is a sponsored thing, and people will take it. They'll take it and then review it. Now, it's up to the content creator whether they do things that will resonate with them or just do things in general, right? If it's something that hey, I happen to like. Oh, pick something like Google Pixel phones, all right? Oh, and Google, for some reason, reaches out to you and says, "Hey, I'd like you to." And by the way, that happens. There are pretty large content creators that will do those kind of things. To say, "I'll, we'll sponsor a review or maybe not even a review, but maybe a playthrough of what it's like to set up a new phone." Something like that, right?
Yeah.
Just simple, something like that, and say, okay, cool, we'll sponsor that for you, and you start out saying, hey, this is sponsored by Google, and I'm just going through my unboxing experience and first time setup, right? And you just do that, fine, right? And you get paid for that. I don't think that's like the craziest thing. That's normal. I think a lot of people do that to make money, especially if content creation is your primary income source. You're gonna do that. That's the way it is, right? And this is a media conglomerate, right? Digital Foundry is the one that's kind of getting blamed for this, but they're part of they're part of IGN now. I think, is that right? I think they're part of
Yeah.
that whole
Yep.
media group, right? So they're part of a big media conglomerate. They're going to do sponsored stuff. That's just kind of the way it is, right? You should expect to see that. I don't see that is an out of the norms thing, as long as they call it out, right? If they don't,
Yes.
I'm pretty sure in the U.S. it's required. I
Yep.
don't know if it's the same everywhere else, but in the U.S. it's like it's required. You are like legally required to say this is sponsored content from so and so provider or whoever it is, right? So as long as they do that, I have no issue with that. And then you as a customer can judge whether you care to consume it or not. Up to you, right? Whereas the other stuff that they're doing for analysis, you would hope that they're not sponsored to do that, because what you want is just a clear analysis, right? And that's what Digital Foundry does, is A/B comparisons and analysis of hardware, how well it works. Sometimes it's even the software, and thinking of things like DLSS, right? How well that is implemented, FSR, how well that's implemented, et cetera, right? But they're looking at that, right, at the technology part of it to say, how is this doing? As long as it's clean, that part is good, I don't see the issue. But I guess some people can take that as bias, and to be fair, if one company provides like 60% of your money, you might be biased. Gee, like the things that happen to PlayStation and Xbox, where PlayStation's advertising tends to be the majority of the money that people seem to get, right, from a media perspective. That tends to skew things at times. Fair enough, right? And that's just an industry norm. But yeah, I'm not overly like concerned with this specific instance. Could it happen to be something that biases you? Yeah, it's possible. And that's up to you to judge, right? You have people like ACG who won't even take codes, right? He's like, nope, I'll buy the game and I'll review it. Fair
Yeah, and
enough,
that's
right? Fair
respectable.
enough.
That's his
Fair enough.
prerogative. But he also,
Yep.
I'm pretty sure he probably does sponsors for like Surfshark or some other things on his
Yeah.
channel at times. I'm sure he takes those, and it doesn't necessarily mean that he uses those things. And he may
Yep.
say he uses those things in the videos. Trust me, I know a lot of big time YouTubers that take these type of sponsorship deals, and they may say things during their ads or their sponsorship that they don't really mean. This is why
Mhm.
when I see things like that myself, just talking about what I do, if as soon as I hear this is a sponsored video, I click off. I don't watch it. And
Yeah.
that's because I know that sponsored deals come with specific regulation, that you are contractually agreeing to make this sponsor video ad, whatever it may be, and there are certain stipulations that they put within that contract that I know for sure that YouTuber doesn't align with at all times. And he may say he does in that particular situation just to get the money. Because some of these sponsorship deals, I know from personal friends, can be upwards of $25,000. And that is great money when you're relying on that solely. When this is your income, this is your livelihood, you're going to take that bag and you're going to say, here's a game that I really don't give a shit about, but you know what, guys, this is what it is. And you're going to talk about it, and you're going to act like this game is all good and everything. Then you're going to just go away from that ad or that sponsored video, and you're never going to talk about it again. That's why I don't watch those sponsored videos. I also don't get mad at people taking those sponsored deals, because I know this is their livelihood. It's, it's capitalism 101, it's business 101. Raid Shadow Legends, for instance. How many people have you seen do a Raid Shadow Legends ad and get paid thousands of dollars to do those 30-second promos? Guess what? Nobody that did those ads are playing it. Nobody. I mean, I watched this freaking guy detail cars on YouTube, and he did a Raid Shadow Legends ad, and I'm like, you ain't playing this. Like, come on. Yeah, it's weird. It's a dumb thing to really get mad at, and it's nothing that I look at Digital Foundry any different for, because I don't go to Digital Foundry for even their opinions, honestly. I go to them for the technical analysis. That's it. And technical analysis they can lie about it, but they'll get caught. They can't really lie about that. So I just don't see the fuss. I don't. I really don't, people. It's crazy that a lot of people hate it. There's like 30,000 dislikes on the video. It's like, okay, I dislike ads too. I don't want to see ads too, but that's why I bought premium. Anyways, watching that, like as soon as I saw that and I saw it was a sponsored thing, I didn't watch it. So I didn't even know there was no narration or anything. I thought they would talk about it. They apparently didn't, from what I'm learning, because I didn't watch the video. I didn't care to. I was also not mad at it. I was like, they got their bag, whatever. It's not a big deal. Magnum in the chat says, so wait, Fonz, all these YouTubers don't have their shave their balls with Manscaped? No, not all of them. And you know what, man, that's a different situation, because they do send you out a Manscaped razor, and whether or not they use it, it's up to them. But I doubt all of them use it. Hell, I would. Why not? So anyway, Hargeet, it's just something I wanted to just get past, because it's just, I heard that on Gaz's show. There was a couple of people in the chat that were talking about it. I just wanted to explain what I felt and what you felt, and hear you out and everything. And maybe they'll listen to the show later. Let's talk about, now we've talked about this before. Colt Eastwood in the chat, by the way, before we move on, he says, I did a Raid Shadow Legends ad in 2021, and they made me change and revise that ad like 5 times.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
of course
right?
they
That's
do.
another thing that happens with those kind of things, right? It's
Yeah.
not, you have to get it approved by
Yep.
them. It's what they like, And sometimes people will just say, all right, you've changed it too much from what I want. I'm just not going to do it, right? That's also an option.
But
right?
you also get paid handsomely to do those reworks over and over. So it's not a bit, it's not a bad deal at all. But yeah, Colt, I'll tell you right now, Colt doesn't play Raid Shadow Legends. He's never played Raid Shadow Legends. Now, we talked about this before, Oblivion Remaster and it being developed by Virtuous Studios. I think that's who it is, Virtuous, I think. We talked about this in the past, but now things are starting to heat up, Hargeet. We're seeing screenshots of this Unreal Engine 5. I don't know what this is. Remember Jake, when he was on the show, he was talking about this being sort of a wrap around with Unreal Engine 5, just making it really pretty, but all the mechanics and stuff still being the same in the game. So it'll probably still have that jank feel and stuff, but it'll just look a lot nicer. So maybe that's just all it is, because after all, this is a remaster, not a remake. But now Jeff Grubb says this could be coming out as soon as next week. It could be shadow dropped. What are your feelings on this? You think that'll happen?
It's always possible. We're also there's rumors of a partner preview. I don't know if that's still happening. We'll see if that kicks off as well. But yeah, it's always possible that they just drop it. Look, it's a remake. It's not a new game, right? This is not a you have to explain why this game exists type of thing. It's a very beloved game anyway. So hopefully it doesn't need much fanfare. But it's good to note that it's out there. I don't know how they want to market that specific thing. It will be in Game Pass, obviously, right? So for those who want to, play it through that, you have it. But it would be kind of cool to see something about it, right? Some sort of like a little direct type thing to say, hey, this is what we did. This is how we did it, right? That kind of stuff would be interesting to know. But yeah, it is possible. It just comes out. They drop it. That's always a possibility. They're in a position where they have so much content now that might just be the way it is. Like, otherwise, it gets overshadowed by all the other new games, right? And that's fair, right? This
Oh,
is
but
a
Hargeet,
remaster
this is
remake
what
type thing. Right? So,
this is. I'm glad you said that, because Rachie in the chat said it would be a douche move to release Oblivion because Expedition 33 comes out next week as well. There's a lot of people out there who have the mindset that it's the other way around, that Oblivion's going to overshadow Expedition 33.
I mean, look, those who have nostalgia for it may do that. I would hope not. Like, Oblivion's great. It's between Skyrim and that. I also played Morrowind, but I didn't finish it because I just didn't like the mechanics of it. But I liked Oblivion the most. It is great.
Best
But
Elder Scrolls game for me too.
yeah. But Expedition 33 looks pretty phenomenal. I'm waiting to see what the reviews of that are. Scuttlebutt is that it's pretty good, but that looks really phenomenal. Now, look, here's the beauty for us: it doesn't matter if you're in Game Pass. If you're not, then buy the game and play it. I still think it looks really good. So for those who want to forego Expedition 33 for Oblivion, it's a choice. Certainly, you could do that. But the thing is, Oblivion is something that's existed for like over a decade now. It's 2 decades, something like 2006, something like that.
Yeah.
Near 2 decades. So like you can certainly play that now. You don't have to wait. But if there is a remake for it, I don't know that would really directly compete with a brand new game, right? Because Oblivion exists. You can play it today. So I'm not, and I don't think they're changing much. If it's the same exact game, it really is just a fresh coat of paint. And for those who want to play that, who have never played it, fair enough. But again, that game exists. You can play it today. You can buy it
Yep.
on pretty much everything. You can play it today. So it's not like this is a new thing replacing or competing directly. I think remasters and remakes, they come out, whatever, that's fine. I don't know if that's a direct competitor to a brand new game. I hope people pick up Expedition. I hope it's a good game, right? We'll see what the reviews are like. Is that embargoed like in the next couple of days or something? I don't think I've seen anything on Open Critic.
I don't know.
But
I think
that would be a. Go ahead.
I think Expedition 33. I think whether or not it's good will dictate whether or not people play that instead over. Oblivion
Yeah, exactly, right.
is this big thing coming. I think nostalgia. We all know it's a hell of a drug, but a lot of people out there, myself included, loved Oblivion, loved it.
Yeah.
Would I want to play it over a brand new game that's like hyped? Or no, I wouldn't. Like, if a brand new game comes out next week, so let's say that Expedition 33 gets an 85 or even a 90. Okay, let's just say it gets some good scores and it aligns with what I want to play. I'm playing that instead. I'm not going back to Oblivion, even though I love Oblivion. Oblivion's my favorite Elder Scrolls game. I'm still not going back. I'm going to play that first. And then in my in-between games time, that's when I play something like a remaster that I haven't, played in a while. But for all the people that are new to Oblivion, I think anybody out there who was going to buy Expedition 33 next week is still going to buy Expedition 33 next week despite a shadow drop. That's just how I see it. I don't think it
Yeah.
really matters. I kind of argued with this about this with Legendary Drops the other day. He was doing a stream and he kind of said the same thing. He thought it would be a big dick move to Expedition 33 since, you know, they've got that in Game Pass. Why would Microsoft just kind of overshadow it with Oblivion? And I'm like, no, I think everybody who's excited for Expedition is still excited for Expedition, no matter what. They're gonna play it. They're gonna pick it up that day or play it in Game Pass. It's up to them. But yeah, I don't really see it competing with each other either. I'm like you, Hargeet. I think today we're on the same wavelength when it comes to these topics because I look at it the same way. I don't think a remaster in this vein is really going to overshadow a brand new game that could possibly be a really, really good game. I just don't see it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's looking good. Hopefully it will be good. I'm looking forward to
I
it.
hope so too.
So yeah.
The voice actress that plays Claire Obscure or whatever, she was the same one that was a main character in Baldur's Gate 3. She's a phenomenal voice actress.
Nice.
She was also in that game show. She co-hosted that game show a few weeks ago, a month ago or so. I forgot what it was, but anyways, Jennifer or something. I forgot her name, but anyways, the voice acting in the game seems really good from what I've seen. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, so for me, for Oblivion, what I would do is, if they do launch it, it does actually come out and it does actually exist because it's still not confirmed.
Not
Let's
confirmed.
just keep
Nope.
that in mind. It's still not confirmed. But let's assume it does come out. It seems very, very, very clear that it's there because there were leaked, images of it from the developer, right? So let's assume it comes out. I will turn it on just to see what the upgrades look like, right? So
Oh, yeah,
I'm not
for
going to
sure.
spend a ton of
Yep.
time. But maybe an hour or two, just tool around, right? Because I played and finished it. I loved it. It was great, but it's like I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. The problem is I have too many other games to play that I have not
That's
even
right.
started.
Yep.
It's like, and that's the way that I'd rather go finish those until I, if I had spare time, sure. But you're talking another one of those 100-hour games. Well,
Yeah, that's why I said,
so,
like, if you were in between games, you had nothing to play for a couple of weeks, Oblivion's perfect. Oblivion
yeah, it's a
Remaster would
great
be
game.
perfect.
It's a great game. But
Yeah.
it's just one of those things, and that's an interesting topic in and of itself. Is the
Yeah.
replayability of some of these games where it's
I
a
know,
very
bro.
large game. If it's a 10-hour thing, you could revisit it. Just think of like Lord of the Rings. If you want to watch like the entire extended edition,
Yeah.
you're giving it that 10 hours, right? Like,
Oh,
okay, cool.
bro.
I could do that. I could stretch that across a week or two, or whatever. Fine, right? If you wanted to play a game that's 150, 200 hours, how do you do that?
Especially,
it's so hard
it always
to do.
comes to a point when you're playing a game like that, for me anyway. Like, if I start a game that I know I've beat before, and I get about the 10, 15-hour mark, and I get to a point where I remember everything that goes on after that, and I'm like, do I really want to go through with this again? That's the
Yeah.
question that I have
Yeah.
to ask myself. It's rare that I ever play a single-player game twice. I did that with Red Dead 2 because that was special, and I had a blast playing it a second time. But could I do it again tomorrow? No. I would have
Yeah.
to wait a while, maybe another 2 years before I play it again. But it's Oblivion. I'll go back to it. I will. Just I don't know how long I'll stick with it because it's much longer of a game. Like it's
Pretty long.
it takes a
And
while
the
to beat.
I don't even remember so if, I hope this is not spoilers, but you go through these Oblivion gates, right? And
Yes,
you
and
go
they
to this
could pop
other
up
realm.
anywhere. That was one of
Yeah,
the
and
cool
the question
things.
is, I don't remember how far in you had to get before you could do that because I'd like to see the differences, right? The graphical differences of what they
Mhm.
did in both realms, right? So I like that would be kind of cool. I just don't remember how far you have to get in before you can see one of those gates and go in. But yeah, that would be good to see, just like how, because that realm looked really interesting, right? So I'd like to see what they did with the
Yeah.
graphics there. But
So
but yeah, it's just one of those things.
if you play through the main objectives, it's about 30 hours. If you want to
Yeah,
100% the game, though, it's almost 200 hours, people, for
yeah,
Oblivion.
that's the thing, and people say, oh, I can just mainline it. You don't understand. This is like classic Bethesda, where like you walk 10 feet and there's another mission that shows up and you're like,
Yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah.
And then you walk another 30 feet and there's another mission that you just keep doing stuff and you just get hooked into another thing. And like, well, this conversation just turned into something else. Like, holy crap. And it just keeps happening. And so you end up spending 150 hours in the game. That's just the way it is.
And
But yeah,
it
as far
was
as
good classic
replayability,
Bethesda, Hargeet. It was
yeah.
good
Yeah,
classic
yeah. This was
Bethesda.
like top tier, like
Yeah.
really good. It was really good. But the replayability, the times where that's happened to me where I replay a single player thing is co-op. Is if somebody else wants to like mainline the Halo campaign or something because they haven't done it. It's like, okay, cool, I'll co-op it with you. We can do that, right?
Yeah,
That's
that's
where it becomes
different.
fun because now it's with somebody, just like you're doing with Borderlands,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you
Like,
jumped
hey,
in and your character's like level who
yeah,
knows
I
what,
finished
like
that campaign.
80
Fair
something,
enough.
I don't know.
But I'm 55 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it's like I finished the game. It doesn't matter. It's just fun to play along with other players.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll do that again, right? Like that's a different story. But alone, it's like, oh my gosh, am I really gonna spend that much time on this? It is an interesting thing, right? In this format, it's a little weird. But in movies, we do it all the time. We watch movies and TV shows, right? But yeah, it's a different story, I guess.
Yeah. No. Palpatine, yeah, I don't doubt that it won't sell well. I think it will sell well, especially on PC. I think a lot of people will pick it up for the very reason we're talking about. It's very nostalgic. Will a lot of people actually go through the whole thing and play it? I'm sure, but there's going to be those like us that might not. And they'll still pick it up. That's the thing. At
And
the
I
end
hope
of the
new
day,
players
though,
will give it a chance. I
but
hope
here's the
new
thing,
players will
though.
give it a chance.
At the end of the day, I think that it's still not going to overshadow a good game, a good brand new game that comes out the same week. I just don't see that happening. I could be wrong, but I don't see that happening. I mean, can you remember a time when, I mean, case in point, Skyrim, it sold very well. How many times? Anniversary edition, all this. But at the same time, new games were releasing. Did it overshadow those games? No. Did people still buy it? Yes. I see it the same way. I don't see these older games getting remastered overshadowing brand new games unless it's got a complete remake. And at that point, a remake is almost like a brand new game because the feel of it's different. You might get new UI, new mechanics within the game. So it becomes a totally different game, even if it's the same narrative. It's different. So this is just a remaster. So I don't really see that happening. I don't see it overshadowing a good game, a good new game, I should say, releasing that same week. Unless it's Horizon Forbidden West or another installment of it, because those all suck. Okay, I'm just kidding, but I just can't stand Horizon Forbidden West, and it's just funny. They've always been overshadowed by another game that same week it drops every freaking time, and it's just funny. Speaking of games that have been retooled or remastered, Lords of the Fallen had just re-released, I guess, or
Yeah.
it's been out there for a while. I don't know when it originally came out. Was it last year or the year before? I don't remember.
It was 2 years ago, but
But
I'll
it's a
check.
Souls-like game. It's a Souls-like game that a lot of people didn't really care for that much. There was a lot of complaints about the game.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago, 2023, October
Yeah.
2023.
And this is a company that decided to, hey, you know what? We're going to stick with this game. We know we've got potential here, and they retooled it. I mean, they've changed a lot within the game, and they even added co-op to the game. They listened to a lot of their community, and they actually came out and fixed a lot of things. And the game's out there for $20. And the cool thing is, with the co-op anyway, it's a lot like Split Fiction. Whereas if your buddy owns it, you can co-op with him for free. You don't have to buy the game. So that's a cool addition that they've added.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, I was looking at it myself, and I'm looking into maybe trying Lords of the Fallen.
Getting it.
I believe it's in Game Pass. Yeah, I believe it is in Game Pass as well.
So,
but I'm going to look more into it to see if it's the type of game I want to play. I do like Souls-like games, but I have to make sure that this one is for me because there's some that I've quit on. Like I know lots of people love Lies of P. I didn't love it. I quit on that in the middle of the game. It's good. Don't get me wrong. I can't get into it. I just didn't like it as much as other Souls-like. And I'm in the minority, so I know I'm weird. Okay. I'm the weirdo. Okay. This guy's the retard for not liking it. Everybody else, you're in the majority. So majority rules when it comes to gaming. But in my mind, I rule, with my personal gaming. So I'll play what I like. Didn't hate it, just couldn't really get into it. Outer Worlds too. It's looking pretty good. I'm really looking forward to this one, man. There was a recent video. Okay, so I know a couple of weeks ago, IGN put out a video and it had so much screen tearing, I couldn't even look at it, man. It was so bad. I
Yeah,
stopped the
it was
video and I said, I'm not even bothering with this. Just looked horrible. But Outer Worlds 2, when they just brought out that new video with the flyover of some of the areas you'll be able to traverse, beautiful, man. It looks so much better than the first game. And I can't wait to play it because I love the first one. The first one was awesome. I don't know, Hargeet, you looking forward to it? Yeah.
Yeah. I love the first one as well. I like the humor, right? It still had a serious enough tone to it. So typical, I guess, of Obsidian. So I liked it. So I'm hoping it will be pretty good. But again, for me, I don't care. It's in Game Pass. I will play it anyway. But yeah, there's no date yet, right? I'm assuming we'll get that. There's a direct, I think, right after Showcase, so we'll get that then. But yeah. By the way, Lords of the Fallen, it seems to be included with Game Pass. So yeah, it is.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The first one was great. I also did a lot. I think all of the DLC for that one, which is where they catch you, right? So you get the game for free in Game Pass, but you end up buying the DLC. And the DLC was, I think, most of it was really good. But yeah, it's certainly going to be a fun one. But yeah, we'll see more of it with the direct, right? That's coming up in a couple of months. We'll get to see and it's interesting. We were thinking maybe it'd be Fable. Of course, that got delayed. So we will see more about Fable later. But that the direct after the showcase is Outer Worlds 2 of all things. It's going to be Outer Worlds 2. So hopefully there will be a lot to show there. That is an interesting place for Obsidian to be, right? This is like, the marquee showcase that's gonna happen. Like Call of Duty, that was one thing, but like now you're doing this one. That's putting a large spotlight on Obsidian, and maybe deservedly so, right? They really have kind of carried this gen for a lot of the beginning of it for Xbox. They've released a lot of games, and now the cadence is crazy because they have so many studios that they're just pumping out games, right? But Obsidian has put out quite a few in the start of the Series S and Series X generation, right? So they've kind of become one of their premier studios. So yeah, they're getting some pretty big love here as far as being a direct after showcase with Outer Worlds 2. I'm looking forward to what they show. But either way, I'm looking forward to the game. A lot of people piled on Avowed. Maybe the graphics weren't what they wanted or whatever. I'm like, I don't care. The game was fun. That was all that mattered. It was fun for me. I enjoyed what I played with it. It's good enough. And as long as I enjoy the game and the story was decent enough for me to want to keep going. It's good enough for me. That one was much more of a hook than I don't know if we said this on the air before, but like AC Shadows, like I'm not hooked. I play for a while and then I'm like, I have to like save and quit and I'm gonna go do something else. Where Avowed, I did not put it. I just kept going. I just kept going and going. Like I just want to keep going. And so that a good, for me, the sign of a good game is where I don't want to put the controller down. I just want to keep playing.
Yep.
Right. So that is a good game from my perspective, for me at least. So
Outer Worlds had great narrative too. It had great narrative that hooked me right away, and also the relationships with the companions and stuff that you could have, and that actually caused issues amongst each other if you chose certain factions or I love that aspect about those types of games. So I can't wait for Outer Worlds 2. That game has been on my radar for a long time, ever since it was announced, ever since the last game. Anonymous Boss, thank you for the 5. He says, yo, Fonz in chat, like Hargeet said, remember, everyone at SIE is a CEO. Too much money spent on CEOs' salaries all over the place. Yeah. Somebody in here sounds like they don't like Sony very much, just like Hargeet.
Well, I mean, I
Oh
don't like the
man.
current incarnation of Sony, but or PlayStation. Sony, that's a different story, by the way. I like Sony, and I loved their TVs. I was a fan of their
Yeah,
TVs
yeah.
forever.
Same.
They have fallen off, unfortunately, for me. But I still think they make some pretty good TVs. But the competitors have come up a lot, so it's now a good potential to buy somebody else's. But
I
it
think if
is
you're in the
like
market
I was
just for movie
Sony
watching,
diehard.
hey,
Yeah.
just for movie watching, Sony TVs are still the best in my opinion.
I know, they're so good. So I was
They're so
diehard
good,
Sony
but
TV kid, dude.
gaming,
Diehard
they
Sony
don't
TV.
have all the gaming features that other TVs have these days.
That
And it's funny that they
surprised
lack that, right?
me. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
weird. They
You
should be on top of
would
that.
figure that you have PlayStation, you would figure you would partner with
Oh,
that and
wait a
figure
minute. What are we talking about, Hargeet? They can't even get their freaking VRR right on their freaking console. How are they going to get everything right for gaming on their
how is
TVs?
that a thing? How is that even a
I,
thing? And
I don't know.
that was so disappointing to me. When the new generation started, PS5 is coming out, Series X, I had both pre-ordered. I'm like, "Wait, I need a TV that's going to do all these, HDMI 2.1 whatever features." No TV. They didn't have an OLED TV that could do all those things, and I'm like, "You have got to be kidding me! What are you doing here?" And so I had to go to LG, and I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm on an LG. That's your flaw and your fault. How do you not have this?" Like, and they still have difficulties with PlayStation and VRR, and you're like, "How? How do you how do you not know?
I
You're
don't
the
know.
consumer electronics company. Like, how do you not have this nailed down?" It's nuts. I don't get it. I just don't get it. They've lost me as a customer, which is sad. I've probably spent, oh gosh, upwards of 50 to 60, if not more, $1,000 on their TVs. I bought all their top end. I'm the moron who goes and buys I bought the $4,000 36-inch Vega back in the 90s, right? And then that now is like the 10,000. I was the moron who would go spend that money, right? Because I wanted their top quality, TVs. So I've spent a lot
Do
on
you,
their stuff.
man, do you remember when Panasonic had this TV that was like, it was the best TV at the time? It was only 1080p. This is going way back, but it was
Yeah.
a 70-inch HD Elite. It was an Elite TV. I'm ashamed to say it now, but I spent $12,000 on that TV.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is
But
the
back
thing,
in the
right?
day, I used to be that way. I had to have the top TV. Whatever that was the
Exactly,
winner
right?
of the shootout that year, that's what I had.
Yeah.
And
And,
now it's
like,
just like,
and it's unfortunate now I don't even look at them for TVs because I used to like the motion processing. Oh my God.
mm-hmm.
Had it nailed. Like, the movies looked awesome. There was no weird oddities in, like, the way the motion worked. It was, like, fantastic, and I'm so disappointed that they aren't, like, keeping up on that.
But you know what's
They
cool though?
still
Most
sell
of the
good
TVs,
TVs, but,
yeah, but
like,
most of them now though, Hargeet, most TVs that come out now are pretty, I won't say exact equal, but they're pretty nice. Even some of the cheaper TVs
yeah,
are really
they're
nice.
all doing great stuff.
And
Yep.
and like if you buy a low end OLED, you're not that far off of a high end OLED. It's still an OLED, and it still looks
Exactly.
miles better than just a regular LED TV, from a few years back. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like they've just gotten so much better, and also the prices have come down a lot from where
Yeah.
they once were. I mean, I remember a time going into Circuit City, if you guys even remember those, and seeing a little tiny freaking plasma panel on the wall, and it was like 20 G's. And we were just looking at that going, who's going to pay for that? That's insane. Well, nobody. It was just like a gimmick thing. Like this is what
Yeah.
it could look like in the future on a bigger scale. But anyways, it's
Yeah.
not TV talk, but I don't know. I like tech. I like talking about tech.
Yeah.
So,
But
it
yeah,
is what it is.
PlayStation itself, yeah, the hate, it's not hate, it's the things
Yeah.
they've done annoyed me, but I have bought the PS2, the 3, the 4, the 5. I have bought all of them. I actually have the Pro 30th anniversary that I'm still trying to sell, right? I have that so I've bought all their stuff. It's not that I don't buy their things. I have it. I still love some of their games. So it's not, like out of absolute spite that I will never
Yeah.
whatever. I still engage. I don't care. I play games. That's really
Yep.
it. And if they offer games that are interesting to me, I'm gonna buy them. I don't care.
Ron G in the chat with $1.99. Thank you very much, by the way. He says even with PS5's bad VRR, they sell the most consoles. Yeah, because they have the mind share. I mean, if you have the mind share,
no, Nintendo does, and I don't think they have any
you know.
VR.
Well, oh, yeah. Overall, yes, you're right. But I'm saying PS5 may sell more than Xbox, but that's because a lot of people think of PS5 when it comes to consoles. Like they tell their friends, buy a PS5. It's just mind share. That's all.
Well, that's an interesting topic on its own now, right? Because of the whole price increase thing. But I don't know if we're going to get into that topic.
We can. Let's get into that because that's another thing that I had on the docket here. PS5 price hikes are happening in some regions. Canada, it started there. It's going to happen in several places. Australia, some of the Asian countries. It's going to be going up between, I believe, around 10% everywhere for their consoles. So the digital PlayStation 5, just the base model digital PlayStation 5, is now as expensive as the original price of the disc-based PlayStation 5 years ago when it dropped.
Wow.
That's insane. Well, we're living in a world where consoles, or at least PlayStations, are getting more expensive as time goes on in the generation. And that's nuts.
Yeah. But I mean, look, a lot of this, we had unfortunately a pandemic, and a lot of countries decided, hey, we're going to have everybody sit at home and print money, and people get sit at home and nothing will happen. Well, unfortunately, that is a recipe for disaster. This is exactly what happens. We've also had a lot of inflationary increases. However, the rest of the world was far worse than the U.S. And this is the result of it. Unfortunately, this is the result of it. And they're saying this is currency issues. I want to be fair to Sony here, but you just have to look at the change in currency rates, and they're not wrong. It still sucks. It really does suck. You have to pay more, but I'm trying to be fair to them that this is what needs to happen. But this is what happens, right? If you manipulate your currencies, this is what's gonna happen. You will have to pay for it in some way, and this is what's happening. Thankfully for us, and I don't know if this stays forever, but we are the reserve currency. So a lot of things get compared to the US dollar, right? So we luck out in a lot of ways. Also, we did the best overall. Maybe a couple of countries did a little bit better from the pandemic. We did not go as crazy as many others did, but we did do crazy shit. So we're also feeling the impacts of inflation, but this is what happens. Most of the
So is that what you read, that it was due to the currencies being changed?
You can just do the conversions. You can just do the conversions. Like if you convert the Canadian dollar to the US dollar, it's actually pretty much the same price once you realize, from the increase in price, it's the same price as what we pay.
Because I've heard some people trying to make the leap that it was because of the tariffs here in America that they're trying to
what does that do with
subsidize.
Sony? Who's making these things in China, right? And China's shipping it to Canada or to Australia. That has nothing to do with U.S. tariffs. It's zilch to do with U.S. tariffs. I don't know where people get this idea that U.S. tariffs in any way. Canada already has tariffs. Australia already has tariffs. They've already the entire planet already does tariffs. We're the ones who are being very, very, very nice to everybody else in the world and not doing them, right? And somehow, for some reason, if we decide, hey, wait, why is it we shouldn't do what you guys all do? We should do the same thing. That's the end of the world. Well, fuck off. Like, that is bullshit, but that's the way it is. Everybody expects we should just take it up the ass. Like, no. All of you fuckers in the rest of the world have already been doing this. Shut up. Just shut up. Just get over it. So this tariff thing has nothing to do with prices everywhere else in the world, unless you're buying something directly from the U.S., and we usually don't export that much. So because all of you assholes tariff the hell out of us. So,
it almost reminds me of the excuse that I've seen on Twitter for no fan fest, because some of the developers and stuff were afraid to come to the country because they might be deported. And I'm like, what? What?
Okay.
What? The leaps, the mental gymnastics that people are taking just to
oh my goodness,
pull politics into everything. is freaking ridiculous. Like,
Unbelievable.
it's
It really
video
is
gaming, people.
unbelievable.
That's just, oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
Anyways, moving
Hilarious.
on.
But yeah, I mean, I like it still stings for those folks. I don't know what your thoughts are as far as the
Oh yeah,
increases. They suck.
it
They
sucks,
suck. They do. But
but they're
I mean, I
also
can't really blame
they're
them
raising
either.
the prices for their PS Plus as well. Between
Now that's a
7
different story.
Okay, so
That they could take the hit.
are
They
you sure?
absolutely could take the
But
hit.
it's in
They're
some of the
not.
same regions. So could it be because of the currency
Oh, it is. It's because of
differences?
that. They're
It's
trying to
and it
equalize the
changes
price.
depending on regions from 7% to 22%.
Yep.
So
Yeah, and they're changing it for most of Latin America. They're changing it for Canada, Australia, all these places, right? Europe. It's changing everywhere, and except the U.S. I don't know if that's going to happen here too. It might, but at least everywhere else, they're sort of equalizing the cost. There, they could take the hit, right? That is not necessarily a thing they actually need to change. So that one kind of doubly sucks. I think they should have just taken the hit and let it go. Maybe at next gen, you say, "Hey, we're upgrading. We're gonna add more capability or something, and then we'll
yeah,
increase the price." I don't need know that needs to happen now, but I don't know how long this generation goes on. For PlayStation, maybe this generation is till 27, 28, 29. I don't know, right? So if their horizon for this is like, "Hey, we're gonna be locked into this for the next 4 years," like, let's change it. Okay. All right, I guess. If it's locked in for another 2 years, it's like, dude, just wait it out. Like, why not just wait it out? So that one really is kind of disappointing that they had to increase that price. For the hardware, I get it. They're paying for that, right? They literally have to pay to make the device. They just didn't want to take the hit. Okay, I get it. It sucks. It royally sucks, but I get it. There's an actual cost out for them, and they want to continue to be at least at level, if not make money off of the device when they sell it. Like, fine, I get that. But for PS Plus, come on, that's just pure money coming in for what? Tell me they're actually giving them a lot of services that are actually going to cost them money. Get out of here.
I think a
They're
lot of
not.
these companies are
It's
just
just
trying
pure
to find
profit.
ways to make more money. It's as simply as that.
Yeah,
Look at
it's literally
Nintendo.
it. Yeah.
Look at what Nintendo's doing.
Oh, that's another fun one.
You know, Nintendo's doing a lot of nickel and
So,
diming as well.
oh yeah. And then their online service, have they told us if the price is going to stay the same when you go to Switch 2?
I don't know. It's relatively low now, I believe, because my son, we
It
pay
is. It's
for it for
really
my
cheap.
son, but I just don't know
Yeah.
what it is.
I think it's
And
like 35 for a family for a year or something like
but
that.
it's
It's very cheap.
also one thing a lot of people don't mention, it's also horrible. It's not very good
Yeah,
for
exactly,
what you pay
right?
for.
But
So,
now they're adding in that chat feature, right? And
oh
they're
my
adding
gosh, yeah.
GameCube games
Well,
and
wait. You mean they're adding in free Discord?
no.
They're just charging for it, but it's Discord.
Yeah, I just don't know if there's going to be some, upcharge if you're on Switch 2.
Gaz said,
So
"Can
we
we
will
talk
find out.
macroeconomics?"
Sure. Let's talk
Yeah, let's
macroeconomics.
talk about it.
Look
Yeah,
at
somebody
Gaz
in
is
here said you don't know what you're talking about. Hargeet, stick to gaming.
what do you mean? What am I not?
I guess
Okay,
when you
what
were
do I
talking
not
about the
know?
tariffs, whatever.
Oh, I'm a moron on tariffs. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Rachie says they make everything more expensive to keep Americans happy. Lower prices are. Yeah, no, that's.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know what specifically they're going after
I
there.
don't know. Console gaming is a scam, says Dorian Gray. What? Oh
It
man,
can be. You have to pay for
it's
online,
scummy.
right?
It's
You
scummy.
pay
Yeah.
higher costs for pretty much all games. There's a lot of like costs built into it to give you that cheaper entry point, right? Which may not be cheaper anymore. So I don't know. It is an
Jesus, the
interesting
next
point.
consoles are going to be like $1,000, bro.
Oh God, yeah.
Jeez, it's
Was
nuts.
guys actually want to like jump in or something? Like why is it like I don't know.
Yeah,
What's
Gaz, you can always jump in, bro.
yeah.
Um, so Claire Obscure Expedition 33, we mentioned that it was coming out next
Ooh,
week.
yeah.
I like what I've seen so far of it. I still am waiting for the reviews before I make that purchase, but What do you feel about it, Hargeet?
Oh, it's in Game Pass for me, so I don't care. I'll play it when I get a
Oh,
chance.
so
I'll
you're
play
going to
it.
play it anyway. So you're a turn-based fan, though. You like turn-based?
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm
No.
not a turn-based fan. No. So,
Wow.
but I'll give it a chance. It's just like Persona. I'm not a turn-based fan, but I'm like, okay, I'll give it a chance. And it was pretty good. This is pretty decent. So I kept playing it and finished a couple of them now. So I also have Metaphor. I think it was the one that they just released last year, right? I have not played that one yet. I have it. I bought it. I just haven't played it yet. But no, in general, I don't like turn-based because it's that roll of the dice stupidity that I'm like, no, I want to control it and just play the game myself instead of the potential that it might work. What I really don't like is, and this is what really annoyed me with Baldur's Gate, was like, you attempt to attack somebody. Oh, you fail to attack.
And then
Okay.
you got to
Now
wait.
wait,
Yeah.
wait, and then I have to use up the health potions that I don't have too many of, and then okay, now I attack. I fail to attack. You got to be kidding me. Like, no, just stop. I
You
don't
know,
I don't like that roll of the dice stupidity. I don't like it.
Cygnus said, Gaz, pro greatness, never been weak, got PC gamers shook. Pro doesn't have PC gamers shook, but he's talking about, I guess he said, 90% of PC gamers because they might have weak GPUs or CPUs or whatnot.
Yeah,
But
so
here's
this is a console player that doesn't understand what PC gaming is,
okay,
right? And
so
that's the problem.
yeah, I mean, the way I look at it here is I would still value 90% of those PCs because they can actually choose to play the game they want, how they want to play it. There's so many different options and stuff available to a PC gamer to play at a high frame rate if they want to do so. Whereas on a console, you don't have all those options. So it's still more valuable to those PC gamers. They want to play the games they want to play the games the way they want to at the end of the day. That's the way it is. And I totally get that, especially being on PC 99% of the time now. I prefer it because I get to do the same. Now, it was only one time I had to turn down graphical settings on AC shadows, and I barely tweaked anything low at all. I just turned it down very little just to get above the 60 frames because I didn't want to use fake frames. That interpolation, I don't like those fake frames. I don't use that. So I don't use the AI frame gen thing. So that was the only time I had to turn it down at all, Hargeet. Aside from that, I've played everything maxed out all the time.
Yeah, and but this is the thing, right? So the mindset of a console gamer is what you've been forced to play, right? You are forced into whatever settings the developer publisher wants you to have on a console. That's just the way it is, right? With PC, you have choices to do whatever you want, and that kind of changes the narrative. So unfortunately, the mindset is that, oh, see, it's not as good as the Pro. It doesn't matter. You play as you want to. You can take a ROG Ally, which is very, very low powered in comparison, right? You still play games at 120 frames. You just choose what graphics you want. That's it.
Yeah.
It's up to you. You do whatever you want, right? You want to play at 60? Play at 60. You can play.
Yeah.
It's up to you. You choose, right? And that's the point of the PC side of things. It's up to you to choose whatever you like. And so you have to change your narrative and mindset to understand what PC gaming is. You don't need to have a high-end machine. You need to have enough of a machine to play the games the way you want to play them until those games come out that say, your machine just isn't going to be able to handle it.
And you know what?
And you upgrade. So,
and it's not like the PC guys are telling you that the Pro looks bad or the games on the Pro look bad or anything. What it comes down to is they laugh at console players for spending the amount of money they do for every game, for the services, for, just playing online, things like that. That's something the PC gamer doesn't want either. Now, when you talk about Ron G, thank you for the $1.99. He says most PC gamers play on a 3060. That's terrible to me. Yeah, it may be terrible to you. And like I said, I'm not even downing the console, even the base PS5. Like, it's still a great console. It's still a great gaming machine. However, it doesn't deliver everything that I want out of it. So that's why I play on the PC. Now, for the entry price and everything, it's great. Like the consoles are awesome. They have their place. I will never say that consoles suck. I won't. But I will say if a console is too expensive or not, or in my opinion, if it's too expensive for me, like the Pro is. To me, $700 for the Pro is too expensive. It's too much for me. But what's going to happen with the next round of consoles that come out for next gen? When they come out at $900,000, are people going to buy them? I don't know. That's going to be a hard sell. Because we're talking about like a lot of people are saying, oh, well, the Pro's 700, so you got to, it's probably going to come out around $600-700. I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way, especially with prices going up the way they are. The PlayStation 5, hell, we just talked about it. The PlayStation 5 is more expensive today than it was 5 years ago. It's crazy. Right? How does that fucking happen? No one can afford big PCs, LOL. Bull superfan. No one can afford big PCs, LOL. You're laughing at that. But at the same time, what happens when you can't afford a console? What happens when that happens, you know? What happens to you?
Yeah. I mean, what is a big PC, right? So you have to kind of like gauge what the average consumer is buying.
You could spend,
as long as it plays the games they want.
You could spend $1,500 and get a decent 4070 Ti or whatever it is, super right now, and have a great machine. And play the games just as good as the Series X, PlayStation 5 Pro. It plays great.
Yeah, so, or you can go lower. It doesn't matter, right? You don't have to go crazy. Like $1,000 with a 4060 is good enough. It's more than enough for most people. And
excuse me, I minced my words. I meant you'll play the games better than a PlayStation 5 Pro. Yeah, just that simple.
And so like the assumption that you have to worry about cost. Now here's the problem, right? So Phil Spencer said that the $1,000 console will be too much. Why do you think he said that?
Because most casuals won't buy it.
Yeah, because but that's the price point that they're like, that's gonna break it. So don't be surprised if your next gen console is going to be $900, because that's why they said 1,000 is too much. So that's like, it's not out of the realm of possibility that it'll be $800-900 to get the next console. At that point, you can ask yourself, gee, if I spend a couple hundred more, I have a decent enough PC. Well, why wouldn't I just do that and not worry about buying the Xbox, the PlayStation, the Nintendo? You just have it all. It doesn't matter. You get everything in one box. Yes, the Switch games don't come directly. You have to play with the emulation work, but whatever. It's still there. So I don't know, man. We'll see how this plays out as it moves forward, but we're still a few years away from that. So,
well, like, and they're becoming more and more PC-like, in these consoles every gen. So, even Septic Sauce in the chat said even Nintendo tried to make the Switch 2 behave more like a PC. LOL. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man.
Trying their darndest to get rid of the emulation stuff, right? We'll see what happens, but yeah.
Biff Rinaldi, thank you for being a member for 28 months. He says, I can't afford a $1,000 console. It took me a year to save up for a PC. It still works great, only a year old, and it'll work fine for at least 3 more. For sure, man. For sure. Yeah.
It might work for 10 more. Like, people still play on 2000 series cards. The 1080 is still really good. So
and here's my point too, when we're talking about PC versus console and stuff, and people making fun of most of the PC gamers having a 3060. Well, even PC gamers can afford the most elite freaking PC. It is a high-end cost. I mean, it's a pretty penny. So they get what they can afford, but they also get what they want to play on. Like, these people are happy with those 3060s. Because they can play the games the way they want to. They can turn down all those graphical settings. They're not playing at freaking 4K. They'll play the game at 1080p at 100 fucking frames at medium settings and be just fine. It's just the way it is. Like, it's not a big deal. I don't know. I think that I will never try to be that snob that tells people that consoles suck or whatever. I just personally, for me, they just haven't met what I've wanted them to do this generation. I was really let down this gen by the consoles. That's the way I feel. I was expecting more in terms of performance.
Yeah. But
What do we
it
got
is what it
here?
is.
Oh,
Go for
that's
the
another
hype.
thing. Now, with the success of like Fallout, the TV show, and Minecraft, the movie, Minecraft has made like $550 million, by the way, at the box office so far. Phil Spencer was recently interviewed by Variety magazine, where he talked about the success after learning from previous works like Halo and Fallout TV. And it seems like they're looking to do more TV and movie adaptations of their franchises. And Hargeet, are you looking forward to them doing this? And if they do make another TV show or even a movie, you could pick, okay, which would it be for you? Which franchise? And would it be a TV show
Oh
or a
gosh.
movie? What would you want to see from them?
That's a
And chat,
good
you could play
question.
along too. What would you guys like
Man,
to
they have
see?
so many. Like they did Warcraft, which failed, unfortunately. It was a good enough movie, I guess. They tried Halo, which sucked. Gears could very naturally be a potential one.
Gears,
Which
yeah.
is in the works, I think, right? I mean, they did one for Minecraft. You wouldn't have expected that to naturally be a movie, but it worked like anything, right? So, there's you could take any one of their odd ones, even Overwatch, and make it into something and say, why not? Candy Crush. Is there already like something with Candy Crush? There probably
The
is.
game adaptation newscast says they're already doing Gears.
Yeah,
I
I
haven't
thought they
heard
were.
anything official, but I've heard, rumors. But
I've heard.
aside
Yeah,
from Gears, then, because that would be an easy pick, right? That would be too easy.
yeah.
But would it be a series or a movie for you for Gears?
For Gears,
For Gears,
well, I mean, like, there's so much content. They already have like
I would do a
5
series.
games, and
Yeah.
the offshoot there with Judgment, and they have Gears Tactics.
Yeah.
There's a potential for, if they
Oh,
make it into movies, and they could make movies, but it would have to be movies, not movie, right? It would have to be many of them. But a TV series could be a potential, or what are they, like a mini series where it's a bunch of like multi-hour, episodes type things. You could do that. But look, there's like all these odd ones that exist across their things. Wasteland, you have Fallout. The TV series did great. You could take many of those, and like Doom is already a movie, right? There's several, I think, right? So they've had that already. I don't know if they've done a Wolfenstein. You could do that.
somebody mentioned Oblivion movie.
Yeah, so like
Elder
any of the Elder
Scrolls.
Scrolls,
Yeah.
that's a potential. It's a pretty big franchise, but like there's two parts of this, right? Is it's got to not hurt the franchise if you do this, right? It's got to help the franchise.
Like Fallout did.
And
That's a great example. Fallout helped the
exactly.
franchise.
So that's got to be part of the calculus. And then, is this going to elevate the IP more, or is it going to keep it status quo? Right. So Elder Scrolls is already kind of at a top tier, but could this help? Why not? You could do that. So that is a viable thing. You could take any of the Bethesda games. Starfield is another potential, right? That could certainly happen. But I would look at the smaller stuff and say, why not take some of the like Double Fine games, or take Obsidian games, or what's the Clockwork Revolution team? What's their In Exile? What's the other one there? Is it In Exile? That's one, right?
In
It was Inner Flame
Exile.
Force, In Exile. Yeah, In Exile, right? So In Exile. They could be a source for some of them as well, right? So those are potentials.
Could you imagine a
But
Psychonauts movie, or
yeah, why not?
like
Right?
an
It's very
animated
viable.
movie, of course, but
Yeah, be awesome. They also had what's the one with Jack Black? The Double Fine game there with Jack Black. It's just not coming to. It's like a rock and roll type. Theme.
oh, Brutal Legend.
Brutal Legend, yeah, exactly. They
Yeah,
could do something like
Brutal
that, right?
Legend. I remembered that. Yeah.
So they have those. They also have like the little adventure games as well, is also cool, right? Full Throttle will be kind of
Mm.
interesting. Um, but yeah, so they have plenty of IP there. And
Oh, what about
I'm missing
Fable?
a whole bunch of their
Fable.
older
You
stuff.
can do
Yeah,
something with
Fable.
Fable. Yeah.
Absolutely could do something with Fable. But yeah, so like, do I pick one of those? Where it would actually be of value? Uh, yeah, I mean, I would pick something that's small and give it some
Really? Okay.
ability to grow. Yeah, and like, well, because the thing is, like, is somebody gonna watch, the Fallout TV series because they were a Fallout fan, or are they watching it because it's a TV series? And you have to
Yeah.
kind of gauge that, right? How many people watch the Halo TV series because they were Halo fans versus just wanted to watch a TV show?
Yeah, you
Because
had
it's
people
video
watch
game,
Fallout and
right? So
they've never played a Fallout before and they loved it. Never played a video
exactly,
game. And then you've had people
yeah,
that did play video games, watched Fallout, never played a Fallout, and then played a Fallout after they watched the show. So, I
yeah.
mean, you've got a
So
lot of
that's the thing,
different.
right? It's a calculus they'll have to make, right? And it
Yeah.
has to make sense. A lot of times people just force it. The Doom movie, for instance, did not do commercially well, I believe,
No, it
right? I don't
didn't.
think it did really well either. But it's did that help or hurt the Doom franchise? Well, I don't think it did really much for the Doom franchise. It didn't elevate it. It also didn't like hurt it much because Doom is still Doom, right? I think the games being revitalized did a lot more, right? The 2016 is when they kind of came up with Doom again, right? That actually helped elevate the Doom franchise again, right? Kind of bring it back into the forefront. So it's that's what they have to kind of go through, right? Is it going to make sense for the franchise? And I think that's what he was saying, right? It was like, not
Yeah.
everything is tailored to go over. It is not necessary because the games, the IPs have to stand on their own, and there's nothing in our current roadmap that says, hey, we need to have this to keep this IP alive, right? It's going to be financially good on its own. We don't need to have the TVs or movie stuff. We will do it where it makes sense, right? And I think that's a good way to look at it. It's a little different than what we're seeing kind of from Sony, who's kind of like trying to push the transmedia thing a bit more. They're trying to like see what they can do with their IP and make it into more TVs and movies. Okay, well, that's their mindset. Fine. I don't know if that's great from a gaming perspective. They're also looking to get more IP, a la Katakawa and many other things that they've been trying to do. Right, is get more IP, and it's a lot of it's for TV and movies. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I like what Phil said here. This is the right attitude to have. It's got to fit, right? We're not going to force it. Hey, just because we have a franchise, we're going to push it onto the other side into television or movies. No, it has to make sense, and we'll do the right thing for the IP, right? And that's the right way to go. I didn't like what they did with Halo, so because and maybe it's just purists and people who like to have a different viewpoint of it. Fine, but like, I understand Halo because I played it, and we kind of grew with that franchise, and like, I understand the Master Chief story from the perspective of what we were shown, right? And to show a different story is like, well, okay, that's nice, but I don't want that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Danny Passion Official with the 2 says Gears needs to be animated movie, not live action. I,
Fair, whatever.
I think
They can choose whatever they want.
they could do good with either for sure. I mean, CGI does a hell of a lot these days, and you can
Yeah.
create a good looking movie. I mean, just look at what we've
I
got
mean,
in other movies that,
the games themselves are CGI, right?
yeah. But I'm just saying,
All
like,
computer generated images.
we could definitely have a good live action movie as well,
Uh,
I believe. But yeah,
yeah, I mean,
I
with
like live
with
action
Gears,
movies more than animated myself. I don't know. That's me.
I don't mind either way, but like, the thing with Gears is it pushed photorealism, right, all the time. That was kind of its thing.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna do that, then yes, it would be nice to actually have it be live action. But I, again, am okay with either one. I don't want it to be hokey. I want it to be good. So as long as it's done well, either way is fine.
Yeah.
But animated could work. It could work. 100%. It could work.
Yeah. For sure. Um. Oh, so marathon, marathon. So a lot of a few YouTubers and stuff got to play it, but it's kind of under wraps still. But we've seen gameplay, we've seen trailers, we've basically seen what marathon is. It's an extraction shooter. Um, You know, I don't think this game is going to do very well, Hargeet. I don't know much about extraction shooters. I know what they generally are. I know usually they have like seasons and they wipe your inventory and everything clean every season. So you don't get to keep, like, if you find a really cool gun, you don't get to keep it like forever, or skins. You don't get to keep certain things. Um, I don't know if I would even try this game, to be honest, even if it was free. And I liked Destiny. I liked no, I let me rephrase that. I loved Destiny. I liked Destiny 2. Then I fell out of like with the whole Destiny franchise after a while because it just got monotonous to me. This game screams Destiny to me, not based on gameplay, because Destiny's not an extraction shooter. I know that. Where it screams Destiny to me is it looks like they've worked on the mechanics. We know the gunplay is going to be great. Bungie's always been good at that. But it looks, and everything we're hearing, I mean, what's his name? Skill Up even said they didn't start on the narrative till just a few months ago. And this game is due to release soon. And they just now started working on the narrative? Like, this is not good. That's not a good sign at all. That's total Destiny vibes. You remember Destiny was created in the same vein. It was like, let's create this shooter, have all the mechanics working tight and everything, but the story's not all there. But let's put it out there. And then they tried to give us this BS about Grimoire cards. If you read the Grimoire cards, you'll get more invested in the story. No, sorry. That's not going to work. I just feel like they're off on the wrong foot yet again with Marathon. And I think this is not the same. And this is not me thinking. Let me scratch the think part. I know this is not the same Bungie that was there years ago when they started Destiny, when they did Halo, when this is a totally, completely different development studio. Hey! All the lead Bungie guys, most of the Bungie has all been gutted. They've left. They've gone on to different things. Matter of fact, Hargeet, some of them left and went to Concord. And we saw what happened to Concord. And that was a lot of ex-Bungie developers. And here we are with Marathon. Are we going to get a Concord Part 2? And is this dead on arrival as well? That's my question. I don't know.
I don't know where it's going to land. Look, the gunplay, I'm sure, will be fantastic. It's Bungie. They do a good job with that. So I'm assuming that part will be good. The gameplay, look, this is an extraction shooter for those who are interested in that kind of thing. Maybe it'll be fun. I don't know. We'll see how they do as far as disrupting that one as well. I'm not going to say it's going to fail until it actually does, because Bungie has done some crazy things, right? So, so I'll give them a benefit of the doubt there. I am not interested because it doesn't have an actual story, right? It's not intended to be a single player campaign like type game. So it is intended to be
no, but there's still supposed to be a narrative there, regardless.
Yeah.
And
well, how are they telling you that narrative? Is it kind of just, hey, you have to go down to the planet and kill so and so?
I don't know. I really don't know, and nobody knows really.
And that's kind of the problem, right? So versus like a full blown narrative that we had with Halo. And look, to be fair, I've never played anything before Halo from them, so I don't know if it's any good. Halo was like unbelievably good, and then after that, Destiny disappointed me. Destiny 2 was meh, and then they're doing this, and I know a lot of people love the raids and whatnot in Destiny. That's awesome. I've tried it a couple of times. It's just not for me. I don't care. Like, that's just not my thing. Grinding for like hours to kill one boss, like I don't care. So
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Fine. And some people loved it. That's fine, great. And a lot of people like created like all these clans, right? That you get together.
But you know what? That was co-op though. This is PvP. So this is 3-on-3.
So it's PvP and PvPVE, right? So you
Yeah,
actually do
yeah.
have some bots, right? But there is always people, right? So you're playing against other people.
Oh, and by the way, only 3
Which
maps.
again,
3 maps.
yeah, which is yet another interesting
Oh,
one to play against.
$40, by the way. It's not free to play like many other
Do we
shooters
know
out
it's
there.
confirmed 40 yet?
Well, that's the heavy rumor. $40.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
so look, I mean, it was always going to be something that they had to charge for because the whole point is to keep PS Plus going. So if that's the case, you're gonna pay for it. That's the way it is, right? So I
But
don't
couldn't they
know.
do that
This,
through being a great free to play game and microtransactions? Because that's what
but
many
you don't
other
need,
free to play games do.
but you don't need PS Plus then, because free to play games
Because
you don't need to have PS Plus. There's no online.
I get what you're saying in that regard, but then why not charge $5 for it? Why do you need the 40?
They could. That's up to them, right? They could charge $10. They could charge $20.
Yeah.
I don't know what that cost is going to be, but then they may think, oh, $20 is a indie game and not a triple A game. Yet $40 is. I don't know. Whatever. This is all stupid internal whatever.
Yeah,
things you
of
guys
course.
figure out. But as far as the success of the game, that is going to be a little bit of a hindrance, right? Because it's not free to play. That's not a death sentence, because think of Helldivers too, right? That did pretty well. That was a paid game. So, but that did well on PC. It also was in a genre that was kind of different, right? So there wasn't a lot in that vein. Extraction shooters have been done. I don't know if it's something that's going to stick or not. But again, it's Bungie, so I'm going to give them benefit of the doubt. Maybe they've got something here. Some of the people who are FPS players, they seem to like some of the things they're seeing. It's fast paced. You can kind of see the gameplay is fast paced. That could be kind of good for those who like that kind of game. We'll see what it does. I'm cautiously optimistic. Let's just say that, right? I think they'll probably have something, but there is a very high possibility that does become a Concord 2.0. I don't think they're gonna pull the plug in a week though, but and I hope it doesn't have the same low numbers of players. I hope it's not that bad. I still think people, because it's Bungie, will give it a chance, and we will see how long it sustains. If it sustains and does well enough, good. But yeah, I don't know. I am totally disinterested. I have no interest in this game.
I don't either.
But that is not indicative of the general populace. I'm also not interested in Fortnite, but a lot of people play Fortnite. So.
Yeah, and for me, it's because it's the type of game it is. I'm not interested in an extraction shooter. I'm not interested in PvP. Just not.
Yeah.
And that may not be the same for other people. This may be a hit. I don't know. I'm not saying that it's going to fail, but my gut instinct is this doesn't look good so far. Especially with the reaction that we've seen from the community. If extraction shooting community is
negative, but it's negative.
A lot of it is negative, though. A lot of it. And a lot of people do not like the look of the game. The overall art style.
That is an odd choice. That is an odd choice. It does.
I don't like the look of the game.
I don't know. It's kind of weird, but I looked at, like, the last I saw the YouTube video for that, the trailer had still more likes than dislikes, but it wasn't. It was pretty close, right? So it's like, okay, that's not a great sign.
Isn't that crazy for Bungie?
Like
that's
negative.
Crazy.
It is.
That's
but look,
really
they chose
crazy.
this. They chose this path, right? They decided to make this game the way it is. I mean, rumors are that they were trying to pitch having an actual storyline, but it was shot down. So here we are, right? This is kind of where it is. So
yeah,
I don't know if the marriage of Sony and Bungie was a great thing, but
I think its toughest battle is going to be the free-to-play games out there that everybody's addicted to right now, such as Marvel Rivals. You know, even though they're different types of PvP games, it's still an online PvP game. One's free-to-play. One is going to cost you some money. And I'm not saying people won't buy it, because if it's good, people will buy a good game.
Yeah.
We just have to see more on this. You know, and I have to see the reaction from the crowd that's interested, because I don't think I'll ever be interested in this game because of the genre. I don't care for the genre, but I do like to watch where games land.
Or is it coming out?
It's next week, I believe somebody was saying in the chat.
Okay, so we'll see, right? The reaction will happen next week.
I want to see the reaction, because I'm still interested to see where things fall, because especially in
Yeah.
Sony's case. This is a very big deal. A very big
Yep.
deal. If they have another game that's a games as a service just tank, that would be awful for Sony. Awful.
Yeah, if this one tanks, yeah, it's a pretty big deal. But no, what was very interesting was as they're announcing this, they also announced the new expansion for Destiny 2 because they're so confident in Marathon. They're like,
Oh
"Whoa, no,
man.
Destiny 2 is still alive. It's still alive, guys. It's still alive." So they actually have a new expansion coming for Destiny 2. I guess it's gonna be a new story arc. I don't know. I'm just guessing here.
I've been out of the
More
loop
to
for
come.
years now with Destiny.
Yep, more to come. Next month we're gonna get more information about that new expansion. But yeah, a new expansion. I can't remember. It was like Edge of something. I can't remember the name of it. But there's a new expansion arc, I guess, coming for Destiny 2. So that is certainly not going anywhere. Destiny 2 is sticking around for those who want to play that one. You still have something. Hopefully it's good. We'll see, right? So if that's sticking around, that's good for Bungie. And that's hopefully good for the fans of Destiny 2. Hopefully they'll get something that they want.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing what people that like extraction shooters have to say about it after the alpha.
Are there a lot of big ones?
Tarkov is the only one I know that
Yeah,
a lot
Tarkov's
of
the only
people
name that
still
comes to
play,
mind.
but that's
Yeah,
PC only. You can't play that on console, I don't believe.
yeah.
Um,
I had that Rainbow Six Extraction that failed. What else would you consider? Maybe do you think Helldivers is an extraction? Not really, right? But it does like you just go in
no,
and
no,
um,
no,
it's
that's
not the
not
same kind of thing.
extraction. No.
Yeah. So
Um,
like I can't think of a big extraction shooter, but maybe yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, you're
So
right,
maybe they
Dorian.
have
Dorian says Tarkov
for
needs competition. Yes, everything needs competition so they can just make themselves better, even better than before and stuff.
yeah, so it's maybe it's an
Get
area
that
that's ripe
improvement.
for disruption, right? And maybe they just have the formula here, right? And cool, right? Good luck to them.
Yeah, it's just my gut instinct, man. Like with the way people are
It does
reacting around it,
look
I'm just like, oh
kind of
man.
stupid, right, as far as the graphics.
The graphics, I just don't
But
care for it all. It doesn't land for me. It looks, and I've heard some
yeah,
people the total opposite say they love the graphics, and I'm like,
good for them,
really?
right? Whatever.
Okay,
And again,
yeah,
as long as it works, right? As long as it works,
I
good enough.
guess, but I just
So
I
if
do
it
not
doesn't
love the
work,
graphics.
fine.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Gaz was even saying today on his show that the graphics they showed for the game in the trailer, it was like a CG trailer type thing that they did. It looked way better and cool. Like if it looked like that, he would enjoy it, but it doesn't. It's I don't know. It's kind of blocky in some ways. That makes sense. And it kind of has this like, yeah, it's kind of almost like a pixel look almost, but not. It's weird because you got rounded edges and stuff, but then there's certain things that are pretty blocky. And I don't know about it. See, Cygnus loves the marathon graphics. Yeah. I we just have a difference of opinion there. I'm not a fan. Anyways, with that said, I'm going to wrap up the show. It's 5:30 right now. I had a great time talking with you about these topics this week, Hargeet. We'll be back next week. We're going to change the time for a while now since the time changed a few weeks ago. Gaz's show is on at a certain time, and he usually overlaps my show, and I want to give people time to trickle in here after his show. So we're starting at 4 p.m. We started that today, so we'll be on 4 p.m. West Coast time next week, Saturday. And Hargeet, let everybody know where they can find you and all the places you're going to be
yeah.
podcast wise. Yeah.
Yeah, so tomorrow, 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. We'll be on with Web Dave. I don't know if you're joining. We'll see.
I may,
But
so it's not for sure yet. I'll find out soon.
yeah, but yeah, check that out on Web Dave's channel, and then I'll be on with Boom on Wednesday. It supposedly, if that partner preview happens, it's supposed to be on Wednesday, but we'll see. Maybe that's not happening. But Xbox may be doing a partner preview soon. So if that does happen, that'll be an interesting show to be at. The Switch pre-orders start on Thursday. But anyway, so check out.
Oh,
Boom's
is that
show.
happening? Is that
Yeah.
confirmed? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's on Thursday.
Okay.
Various times. Some are doing it midnight. Some are doing it later. I don't know. Whatever. We'll keep up with that if you want to. If you want to order the Switch 2, it's going to be pre-ordering on Thursday. And yeah, so 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Wednesday for Booms, and then 8-ish p.m. on Friday with C Money and Doodle on Point for Gamers. And then, as you said, we'll be back at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern or 4 p.m. Pacific for next week's show here on Saturday.
All right. With
And if
that,
you want, by the way, subscribe to my channel, Harugi-chan1. For those joining the PC world, I have a couple of videos up on various different tips and tricks if you want to check that out. I'll try to do one on Play Night next. I did one on how to sort of automate your updates. So you can run a couple of commands, put it in a script, and it just automatically will update your drivers, your apps, your games, everything will just
nice.
auto update for you. So check that out. And then another one on if you happen to have the Elite controller, you can remap that thing to do most of the things you need to do in a controller-based UI. So if you want to make it into a mouse, you can. So you can like play around with the settings.
Or you can get one of
out.
these. Let me see. You see this?
Interesting. Yeah, that's an
got
interesting. Is that
joystick here?
Wow.
And then it's got all kinds of mechanical keys.
Holy crap!
Yeah,
that is a nice.
You just put your hand in it, and it's basically just like it's a claw.
Wow,
it's amazing for games.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Check that out. Play Night can be configured pretty extensively. Play Night is a launcher that lets you launch all your different games. But you can make that kind of be the startup. You can even change your shell to boot that, right? So I have mine where it actually starts up with the Xbox logo, just like the Series X does. And so you get the Xbox logo blooming, and then with the sound and all that, and then it comes up with your Xbox looking UI. And you have all your games there. So I'll try to do a video on that to help people who want to kind of set things up on a PC to kind of look like that if you want to make it into a console type experience. So look forward to that. Shop.chiny.us if you want to pick up my book. And we will see you guys.
Yeah, those are great videos to make for sure. Because a lot of people are getting into PC now, so it's smart to start doing stuff like that. Definitely. Like that.
Yeah, I mean, simple things like even just auto booting in without having to log in, right? A lot of people just like you if you're sitting on your keyboard and mouse, that's fine. But in a console, you just kind of turn it on.
Oh, and just like you told me the other day, some motherboards allow you to boot up your PC a lot faster.
Yep.
And I was telling you that mine just boots up really fast regardless. And you said, oh, it's probably on in the motherboard. It was on in the motherboard. I checked it. So
yeah,
it's so much faster. If you turn it off, it is slow to boot up the PC. It's not really slow, but it takes a couple of minutes to fully boot.
Exactly.
Yeah. Whereas like with that on, it's like 30 seconds or something. It's like, boom, you got a PC on. It's ready to go. Less than that, probably. Anyways, I want to thank everybody for showing up live today. Everybody listening after the fact on demand, whether it's on YouTube or Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those great platforms out there. You can listen to the streaming, both the audio and video. If you go to Spotify, the video is there as well. I want to thank you guys. And